So as always, there's the couple of calculations that we need to know. Now we just need to take that information or take those ideas and apply it to a word problem. Of course, the toughest part about a word problem is trying to figure out what we need to do. So example 3, applications using tangent ratio. At a horizontal distance of 200 meters from the base of an observation tower, the angle between the ground and the line of sight to the top of the tower is 8 degrees. How high is the tower to the nearest meter? From here, absolute first step really should be to draw yourself some kind of picture. I can't do these questions. Well, I could do it if I really thought about it. I really can't I can't do these questions if I don't have some kind of picture. So I'd quickly draw myself a picture because it's really not hard to draw a triangle. Here we have some kind of tower. It said that the tower was 200 meters tall. Oh no, horizontal. You're a horizontal distance from that tower. 200 meters. This is the tower. This is you. 200 meters from a tower. The angle between the ground and the line of sight to the top of the tower is 8 degrees, which means the angle, the line of sight looking from the ground to the top of the tower, this is 8 degrees. How tall is the tower? So we need to find out, let's call it H. H is a good one for height. H, how tall is the tower? There's our picture. Step 1, picture. When you have a word problem, the first thing you really should do is draw a picture. Step 2, SOHCAHTOA. Now, you don't have to write this down for every question. Write it on the top of a page so you can refer to it. If you flip your page, then write it at the top of the page again so that it's there. But I really, really want to stress that it's important that you know what these ratios are. This acronym, a simple way to remember them, SOHCAHTOA. So we know we're only dealing with tangent. But when we start having to choose, you'll see why it's important to have that there. So there's our acronym, there's our picture. Next step, label our triangle. Again, because we have a right triangle, well, we're assuming that the tower forms a right angle to the ground, which is an assumption you can make with most of these questions. So we have our right triangle, we have that angle, we know that this side here, the line of sight side, would be our hypotenuse. It's opposite to the 90-degree angle. It's the longest side of the triangle. We know that this side H would be our opposite side to the angle that we're referring to, or the angle that we have in the question. This last side, adjacent side. Step 1, picture. Step 2, acronym. Step 3, formula. Formula. We only have at our disposal right now tangent. Tangent of an angle is opposite over adjacent. We're trying to find the opposite side. We're trying to find this opposite side. What do we have already? We have the adjacent side. We have the angle. What trig function allows us to use an angle, the adjacent side, and the opposite side? Tangent. There's our formula. Tangent of theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Next step, substitute into that equation. Tangent, it's 8 degrees because that's the angle I was given. My opposite side is my height. That's what I'm looking for. My adjacent side was the 200-meter distance to the base of the tower. From here, what I showed you before was to calculate this to 4 decimal places. But I'll show you right now how you can save yourself a little bit of grief and not having to write those numbers down all the time. Okay? So we know that the next step is to solve for this height. That's what we're looking for, so we have to solve for that height, which means we want it by itself. In order to get it by itself, we need to get rid of or move this 200. This is h divided by 200. The opposite function, because that's how we solve, is multiply by 200. So I multiply by 200. Because I multiply on one side of the equal sign, I have to multiply on the other side of the equal sign. If I don't, it causes me a whole lot of grief. So when these multiply out...
Shane Ballmer, can you contact the office, please? Shane Ballmer, contact the office.
Sorry about that. Now I know why I shouldn't do that here at school. Anyway, so when I multiply those out, those cancel. The 200s cancel on the right-hand side of the equal sign. Over here, I'm left with tangent 8 times 200. Tangent 8 times 200 equals h. So now you see I have a simple calculation. I can punch that into my calculator and find my height. But I want to show you one other little thing. You have to be careful when you're punching this into your calculator not to multiply 8 and 200 straight away, because that's not what you're finding the tangent of. You're finding the tangent of 8 and then multiplying by 200. So be careful on the steps on your calculator. Generally, when I see this type of situation, I'll write the 200 out in front times tangent 8. Because on my calculator, I know that if I punch this in this fashion, it will calculate the proper angle for me, the proper calculation for me. If I punch it in the other way, if I'm not careful of where to put brackets, then it's going to give me the wrong answer. Just something that you're going to need to get used to with using your calculator. So now you take out your handy dandy calculator and you go 200 times the tangent of 8 degrees should give you a measurement of 28.10816694. I believe the question said to the nearest meter, so in this case, 28 meters. Example 3. And I believe that takes us to the end of section 2.2. The bottom of this page, you'll see some questions that you need to look at in your textbook. You have that to refer to, so I won't leave that here on the screen. I'll leave this here on the screen as an end shot so that if you need to copy that down, you can do so.